Hey, it's Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD. In my over 30 years of medical practice, I've made it my goal to help you create a great life by achieving a strong mind, a healthy body, and an unshakable spirit. What I want to talk to you today about is exercise. What's good exercise? Well, this article looks at the exercise routine that's 3 times more beneficial than walking, according to researchers. Stationary time reportedly can be offset by higher levels of activity and exercise. And I think that's been shown to be pretty much the case. And moderate or vigorous physical activity seems to be 3 times more beneficial to a person's health than walking, according to new research. And this research was done and published in the European Health Journal, and it examined the exercise habits of 2,070 adults. And that's a pretty robust study as far as medical studies go, the slight majority of whom were women who participated in the Framingham Heart Study using accelerometers. Now, the Framingham Heart Study has been going on for many years and was based out of Framingham, Massachusetts, and looked at cardiovascular health. And so what they're doing is they're using a data set, a set of people who are in this study, and they're looking at them going forward in their lives. So let's look at what they found. An accelerometer is a device that measures the vibration or acceleration of motion of a structure. Wow, I've never heard of that. It's very interesting. Cardiopulmonary exercise tests using a face mask or a mouthpiece to measure oxygen intake and the carbon dioxide expelled were performed from 2016 to 2019 on stationary cycles for comprehensive fitness evaluation. So you might know like a cardiopulmonary, a cardiac stress test where you go on a treadmill and you run and you're hooked up to different monitors and look at your heartbeat, and it might tilt a little bit, so you're going uphill, and that's a measure of stress on the heart. But cardiopulmonary stress testing actually measures your oxygen exchange. So when we breathe in oxygen, our blood takes it in and it gives off a waste product, carbon dioxide. So it exchanges that in the lungs. So measuring that can show how efficient we are at breathing, basically. And so when these cardiopulmonary stress tests or exercise tests are done, here they're doing it on a stationary bike rather than a treadmill. Participants also brought home accelerometers to wear around their waist for 8 days after the study visit, according to Matthew Nayor, the study's lead author and Boston University's assistant professor of medicine. So this tweet by the BU experts, Boston University experts, let's get moving. With help from 2,000 Framingham study participants, Matt Nayor and his BU medicine research team have found that bouts of moderate to vigorous exercise drastically improved a person's fitness compared to milder forms of exercise. So, yeah, walking is a milder form of exercise. It's more of a leisurely exercise. I mean, some people engage in it a little bit more energetically, but for the most part, it's a leisurely kind of strolling activity. And they're showing that bursts of moderate to vigorous activity can reverse the negative effects of sedentary lifestyles like sitting a lot. The findings, the study's author said, were largely consistent across the categories of age, sex, obesity, and cardiovascular risk. An increase of 17 minutes of moderate, vigorous physical activity per day, or 2,312 steps per day, or reductions of 249 minutes of sedentary time per day between 2 testing cycles, corresponded with a 5% higher peak oxygen uptake, meaning more efficient breathing and oxygen exchange, and individuals with high above average steps or moderate vigorous physical activity demonstrated above average peak oxygen uptake values regardless of their sedentary time per day. So they're showing a better oxygen, a more efficient oxygen exchange. Moderate vigorous physical activity is defined as a rate of 100 to 129 steps per minute. So that would be, I guess, you can extrapolate that or compare that with like cycling, or 100 to 129 steps per minute is pretty fast. When you're strolling a walk, that's probably 1 step per every 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So you're not really, well, maybe not 3 seconds, but it's more like one step a second. So it's about 60 steps a minute uh, is what a usual walking pace would be. Greater than 130 steps per minute is considered vigorous. A cadence of 60 to 99 steps per minute is considered low-level exertion, and that would be kind of a strolling walk. Our findings provide a detailed assessment of relations of different types of physical activity with multidimensional cardio-respiratory fitness measures and suggest favorable longitudinal changes in physical activity, and moderate vigorous physical activity in particular are associated with greater objective fitness, they wrote in the study. In a Q&A with Boston University's The Brink, Nayor explained that the study came about as a means of better understanding the links between both physical activity and higher levels of fitness. We expected to find that higher amounts of moderate, vigorous physical activity like exercise would lead to better peak exercise performance, but we were surprised to see that higher intensity activity was also more efficient than walking in improving the body's ability to start and sustain lower levels of exertion, he said. We were also uncertain whether the number of steps per day or less time spent sedentary would truly impact peak fitness levels. And they can measure that because the exchange of oxygen, it's more efficient. And the more efficient it is, the more your body will be efficient. You'll have more oxygen at lesser, you'll get more oxygen at lesser stress. You don't have to breathe fast. So every breath is more efficient. And that happens when you're in a better fitness state due to what they're saying, moderate to vigorous activity. We found that they were associated with higher fitness levels in our study group. These findings were consistent across categories of age, sex, and health status, confirming the relevance of maintaining physical activity throughout the day for everybody. The Boston Medical Center cardiologist noted that the study's conclusion also indicated that much of the negative effects of being seated and inactive, sedentary, may be offset by having higher levels of activity and exercise. It's great. This is great information. I think this is information that you can take with you and integrate into your lives to make yourself more physically fit and more healthy. Again, we're talking mind, body, and spirit. You can't ignore the body part, right? And by increasing the fitness level of the body, the mind and the spirit gets stronger. I can guarantee you that. I've seen it in my own life and my family's and professionally in my career. Our third question was, are more recent physical activity habits more important than previous exercise habits in determining current levels of fitness? Meaning, can you make up from years and years of sedentary no exercise? Or is it too late? Are you over the hill? Well, interestingly, we found that participants with high activity values at one assessment and low values at another assessment performed 8 years apart. That's why this Framingham study, again, this is spread out for many years. So at 8 years prior, there was low levels of fitness, and now there's higher levels. What did they find? They had equivalent levels of fitness, whether or not the high value coincided with the fitness testing, he said. This suggests that there may be a memory effect of previous physical activity on current levels of fitness. So let's think about that. So they found that 1/3, are more habits more important. Let's see here. Found another assessment performed 8 years apart. Okay, so the body remembers that. Oh, I see what they're saying is that, let's say you were physically active 8 years ago and you have had a stretch where you're less physically active, then your body remembers that and can quickly adapt. So in your earlier, let's say when you were younger and you exercised a lot, but then middle age came around and you became more sedentary and less active, your brain will pick up quickly. So it's never too late. Nayor said that the researchers hoped the study will provide information that can be ultimately used to improve physical fitness and overall health. And I agree with that. That's where I'm coming from. And let me know what you think. Until next time, I'm Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD, encouraging you to stay strong in mind, in body, and in soul. Bye for now.